Good morning. Today we're going to learn how to construct a Goldhaube. Goldhaubes have 4 pattern pieces: the front band, the crown, the middle band, and the hood. These pattern pieces are available for free at GermanRenaissance.net. That was the front band. This is the middle band. That's the crown. And that's the hood. That's the back piece of the Goldhaube. The original patterns found for free at GermanRenaissance.net. One thing that Genoveva says on her website is that it's going to take you a yard of silk and a yard of linen for all the pieces for this project. One thing that's very important is to prepare the hood before construction by having 2 eyelets in strategic places in the hood that you're going to use for drawstring later. This is a pattern piece for one of my hoods, and the eyelets are on either side. You're going to sew each piece of silk to its linen lining, and you're going to leave the ends of the front and middle bands open, and you're going to leave a center opening on the hood about 7 or 8 inches in length. You're going to use that later. So there's the front band. There's the crown, the middle band, and then the hood is last. The construction of this piece isn't hard. It's just difficult to visualize sometimes. So the bands are open on the ends because they're going to be used for a channel for ties. You're going to want to finish those edges off with something. I left mine raw in the sample. The first thing you do is sew the crown to the hood. You're going to match these up by their centers to make sure that they're centered on each other. You have the hood, you have the center opening, and you're going to insert the crown into it. You're going to want to do most of this construction by hand sewing because there's curves involved. And it's really hard to get a curve to work if you're using a sewing machine. But if you're using hand stitching, you can fudge the curve much better. So those are the first 2 pieces that go together. The next thing you're going to do is sew the front band onto the crown. And this is where the curves start to come in. The front band is what's going to be across your forehead. Now, when you're attaching this front band to the crown, remember there's a channel in the middle of that front band piece that you're going to have to thread a tie through. So when you're sewing it to the crown, you have to make sure that you don't sew that channel front closed by mistake. I'm just doing a rough pinning here as a demonstration of how the pieces go together. The next piece is the middle band. And it's going to connect all 3 pieces together. And you definitely need to do this by hand because this is also a piece that has a channel running through it so you can get a tie through. So you can attach the straight side of the hood to the middle band as I'm pinning here. And then you're going to bend the edges of the crown and the front band down so that they are somewhat covered by the middle band. Again, you have to make sure that you leave that channel open in the front band because you're going to be threading some cord through that for ties. So this is the magical construction of the Goldhaube. Now I'm going to switch to a Goldhaube that has already been constructed. This is made out of silk with some metallic in it. It helps if you use somewhat of a stiffer silk than a thin silk because the hat will keep its shape better. So that curve that you see at the top is what goes across your forehead. And you can see what that curved crown piece does. So you have the hood, the middle band, the crown, and the front band. On the back, you can see where I've sewn a channel between the lining and the outside piece. That's going to be used for the drawstring to draw the hood closed. You can thread that string through with a safety pin. You can see all the ties that I put in here. There's 3 ties on this headpiece. Seems like a lot, but it's not really. It will keep it nice and snug on your head. So the first thing that you do is to draw the hood closed and stuff it full of fiberfill as if you had that much hair to put in there. I know some of you do. I don't. I have short hair. So I'm going to put fiberfill in it to make the back portion of this Goldhaube poof out into the right configuration. So I'm just going to close the drawstring up with a bow, and I'm going to push it inside the Goldhaube as much as possible so that it doesn't interfere with the other ties. And the fiberfill will go on each side of the back to make that poof out. And that's what it looks like with the back on the left and the front on the right. And now I'm going to put that on my head. So here we go. I'm going to put that on my forehead. And I'm going to grab that front tie and I'm going to pull it around the back and I'm going to tie that in a bow and I'm going to snug that up so that it stays on my forehead. You're going to grab that second tie, and when you tie that second tie, it's going to really snug down quite nicely on your head and it won't slip off. The reason I use linen as a lining is because that's got more grip to it than silk would. And there we are. There's the Goldhaube. And in my next class, I'll show you the hats to wear with the Goldhaube. Enjoy!